Well, we're back here behind, well, just way off the river channel. Just a little bit south of Paris. Big mats of grass. I'm just looking for a little bit clearer water. This has got a real brown tint to it, and I don't like that. I want to find that real good, clean, crisp, fresh grass with with lots of oxygen to it. I think that's what they cling to. So we're gonna. Now this over here looks a little bit better than this brown stuff. So we may throw a topwater right here. Yeah, I like this. Let's try it. It's real sparse grass out here. Yeah, we've just got these straight lines of grass mats, hard lines, and then there's scattered grass all underneath the boat. And over here to my left is where 2 points, they're kind of come together. It's creating a little channel going up in there. So that's what I really like about this. This is the reason why I stopped. Is this little point comes out and it just creates a little flow right through there. Any kind of little channel flow. They set up on those areas. You can see all the little clumps of grass out here. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons I like throwing the Sexy Dog this time of year in the fall, I can cover a lot of water with it. We're back here behind all these islands, and we're covering clumps of hydrilla and milfoil, and there's no telling where a fish is liable to be back here. You're not fishing a target, you're just fishing wide open flats. So you can cover a lot of water with this bait. I really like it. We got it in so many different colors. We have real transparent colors, clear colors. We've got these real solids. Day like today, we've got clouds, off and on sun. I don't think it really matters, a chrome or like a bone color like this or anything like that. A lot of times it starts out being chrome, and after you fish it a while and the fish eat all the chrome off of it, it turns into a bone. So I just start out using bone. But anything gaudy, anything big and bulky, there'd be some gizzard shad worked their way back here off the river, and that's what we're looking for. One big fish that's going to kind of come up and kamikaze on a big gizzard that's making all kind of commotion. I really like when I see them feeding on the smaller bait. We've got a 4-inch in the same bait. That's a 2-hooker. That's an awful good one as well. It casts real far. But I like the Strike King Sexy Dog because you can cast it a long way. Like I said earlier, you got 3 hooks on it. Big bulky bait. It's a good hookup ratio with the 3 hooks. And you can cover lots of water with it. You can make really long casts and be real efficient with it covering these flats. Every now and then you'll see a fish come up in porpoise, and or a shad come up in porpoise, and you'll see a big fish behind it blowing up on the outer edges of these mats. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to create a commotion like that. And I don't think we've run across any highly fish populated areas yet. They only use certain little areas back here. We hit 2 spots back there that I really thought we would have got a bite. We're coming up on another little point right here. Good high percentage area. Can't get a bite on it. We're just going to have to keep looking, go up a little farther, maybe look for a little different water clarity or get out of the wind a little more. Just change it up. That's all you can do covering these flats. You just got to keep going and you'll run across them. Well, we just moved down. I mean, we weren't down there 200 or 300 yards. I started running, just getting away, just gonna, like I said, try something different. And I began noticing that the water was just a lot clearer right here in this one little spot. And so stopped, and that's the whole deal. Grass fishing in the fall, they're gonna be in some little area, some little place that's protected, something different. So this was a little bit different because the water clarity was so much better. So we're just going to stop here and try it a minute. Doesn't work, we'll move on and keep trying. But you can't keep wasting your time in an area where you're not getting bit like we were. Just keep trying something different. It may be too windy for this topwater. See, it's getting so thick now that maybe it's not too thick. Just had to keep changing up, get back here in a little bit better looking water. Nice. And yeah, that's why we practice. You know, that's why we try all different types of stuff. You just, sometimes you fish right through what, you know, you're about to make a bad decision, but you fish right through it and the fish tells you something. Hey, keep going, you know, or I've had that so many times happen to me in a tournament. I'll be fishing, and all of a sudden, you know, things have died down. I say, we got to get out of here, and then wham, catch the biggest fish in the school. You know, it's just, that's why you keep fishing though. You don't stop and overthink things. You can fish yourself right through some almost bad decisions. That's the same way with struggling mentally in bass fishing. There's no book you can read, there's no video you can watch. Sometimes you just got to fish right through bad streaks. That's it, man. It's just the time that you spend out there trying to unlock the key, unlock the lock, trying to figure it out. You're always searching. Time on the water means everything. The guy that spends the most time on the water is going to be the better outdoorsman, period. There may be some really good electronics guys, and there may be some good network guys, but the guy that's got one of these in his hand the most, and he's out figuring out critters and how they react and what they do and their behavior, he's going to be the guy that is going to be there when the creek rises and the water falls and things change and the storm comes, and when you make the cut, you can't, you know, get all these decisions at the last minute, or it's 12 noon and you don't have anything and all else has failed. He's going to be the guy that puts some fish in the boat. That's what it's all about. You know, no matter how good of a network guy you are, or no matter how good you are at electronics, you got to put 5 fish in the boat. They will let you weigh in 5. So if you weigh in 3, that ain't good. You've got to keep your job in this sport and your trade in perspective. You gotta work hard all the way through the end. You gotta fish that last 30 minutes as hard as your first 30 minutes. You gotta fish the final day as hard as you fished the first day. You've got to keep all that in perspective when you know when you're going into a tournament. I look at it like I could be working. I used to have a job where I wore a suit and tie to work every day. When I get down, when I get feeling like I'm kind of tired of fishing or whatever, I start thinking about buttoning that button up to the top, pinching my neck, my neck's done got too fat where it'd be real uncomfortable. So I started thinking about working that job and crunching them numbers, and man, I put a little pep in my step. Got to stay focused all the way through. You're going to make bad decisions, but keep making decisions. Don't just get locked in and say, man, I'm tired, I'm wore out. I can't tell you how many times ledge fishing, especially whenever you've been cranking a 6XD all day or a 10XD and you're just like, man, I'm done. Just stick a fork in me, and no, you got to grind it out. That's why my shoulder's shot and I need surgery on the left shoulder. But that's what we do. Guys who put on roof, their hands are calloused, knees are calloused. They get hot. Football players are banged up all week. Fishermen are sore all year. But that's what we do. That's how I'm able to teach people and share my passions of outdoor ministry and make a living for my family, all those things. It's my trade. It's what I do. So you just got to work right through it. And it's not all that bad. Every now and then you get to hold up one of them cardboard checks if you work hard enough. No, man, outdoor ministry is my heartbeat. That's what I love. I had to do something as a career, something where I could live out my faith and reach people, and I try to do it in a way that doesn't beat anybody over the head or anything like that, because that's just not the way I am. That's not the way Jesus was. He loved people and he gave them a choice, and he just shared the good news with folks, and that's the way I've always tried to be. And there's just lots of guys who may not go to a church full time or whatever, and they may have a church may have a fish fry, or may get a bunch of guys together and just have a good time and have an archery shoot or a fishing tournament or whatever, and at the end of it, share the love of Christ with people and let them make a decision what they want to do with it. That's the Christian life. It's all about a choice. Jesus gave us a choice to put our faith in Him or believe in some molecule falling down and all of a sudden went in the water and grew some gills and jumped up on the bank, and that's our ancestors. I don't believe in that. So I'm able through fishing to be able to get involved in lots of things like that. At my church, we have an outdoor ministry that I'm the chairman of, and we have a monthly function, a fish fry or dove hunt or whatever. And it's just about inviting guests and men in the community and talking hunting, fishing, and eating a little grub. Most of the time it's eating some critter that we've caught or killed, and like I said, just presenting the gospel with people. I have a fun time doing it. I love it. I have a passion for it. And what I so love about fishing is that I'm able to live out my faith on stage. I'm able to tell people, hey, that I get my peace and my joy and my life comes from God. So, and I don't have I'm not worried about somebody chopping my head off for doing it, That's the good thing about the USA. We've got the freedoms over here to do that. Small one. What you want to do is hit your power poles now, because there could be some more. It's a nice little small fish. Could be some more in this area. Well, this is just a little 3.5 inch Shadowlicious on a 3/8 ounce head, 15-pound line. I just like this in these areas where the scattered grass is and clumps of grass. You can throw it weedless, rig it on just a big hook, weedless, or you can throw it on a jig head like this. The reason I like a jig head, I can be real efficient. I can cast it a long ways, and every now and then you'll snag on a little bit of milfoil or something, but your hookup ratio is going to be a lot better with your exposed hook. Just getting out in these little shallow flats like this right here and just you know, fan casting, covering, just fishing it just like a spinnerbait, just covering lots of water. It's got a really good little action. I don't know if you can see this. Got a good little kick and tail action, man. That 3.5 inch is just a really good profile. I can find a lot of times if the wind gets so bad, that's the reason I've got this as a backup. The wind can get so bad out here that they won't come up and eat the topwater bait, and that's where I like the little Shadowlicious covering these flats in the fall. Just a neat little bait. Gizzard, blue gizzard, green gizzard, sexy shad, all those colors are good. Just a neat little bait, very versatile. As you can see, this is just a little small bare flat, kind of a pocket off of this creek, and it gets real flat here. It's a little pocket. It's got a good hard bottom, and there's some sparse grass around, a lot of shad. So we're just, you know, this time of year in the fall, the bass really get on flats. They start getting off of those main river ledges and getting more on the flats, because the bass, the shad, they're coming out of those deep haunts and everything where they like to be out there in the current, down deep, and they're getting up. The surface water temperature is cooling off a whole lot, so the shad are pulling up. They're migrating more on the flats, and the bass kind of use them as cover and migrate around with them, and they don't have to have they don't have to have anything else. They got shade, they've got oxygen, and they got food right there with a big ball of shad, so they can just cover them, migrate around with them, and use them for everything they need to survive. Right now I'm just covering this flat with a little 3/8 ounce jig head and a small swim bait. I really like the Shadowlicious because it's got a nice little paddle tail on the back of it, a small profile. We make it in 3.5 and 4.5 inch sizes, which when the bass get up here and start feeding on these little small minnows are really ideal. And that's what I'm doing right now, just looking for them. I've got a big Strike King Sexy Dog on for if we find them. Really good. Get on them for those bigger fish, but right now I'm just covering some water trying to get a bite. I had two right back there in one spot, so we may ease back there in a minute. Usually you can find one little patch of scattered grass out here where there's a little small school of fish and you can catch a few. That's what we're trying to do. Well, we're going to call it a day today, but you know, we had a good day fishing today. We figured out a lot. We only caught a couple fish, but we fished a lot where there's some brown water and a lot of good looking areas. But then we finally got back here right at the end of the day and found some clearer water with some sparse milfoil and hydrilla. And if I was to come back tomorrow, I would not waste any time back there. I would find this clean water, get back in behind all this grass where it's protected, these dead end areas kind of like this. This is where the shad are. We saw shad right back there. So this is where I would concentrate on if I was to come back and do it again. If I was pre-fishing for a tournament right now, I figured out that I would not waste any time in that, and I'd look for areas just like this. And then you have them for here, all the way down that way, and that way as well, and north and south. So we figured out a lot today. We didn't catch a lot of fish, but I think we figured out what the fish are doing and what kind of areas they like to get in right now this time of year with this water load and these matted grass mats protecting these little areas like this.